The question I get asked is, how does the application, the IoT application, dictate the RAT type? What should I do? How do I decide what I need to do next? Well, I always like to start by asking, well, the RAT type is important, but I always ask the same questions every time. What are you trying to do? What problem are you trying to fix? What is your use case? When we get answers to those, we can then start to design the device, the technology, the RAT type that needs to be used. But there's always the million-dollar question that I like to ask. What happens if the data from the device does not arrive in 1, 10, 72 hours? How does that affect your business? If we look at a smart meter, then I say it's not a problem. If the data doesn't arrive now, but it arrives in 3 hours' time or even tomorrow, is that a major problem? No, it's reported my usage. As long as at the end of the month I get my bill for my usage. Did the data arrive on Tuesday, Wednesday, 3 times last week? Does it really matter? What about if it's a tracker? Here it depends on the tracker. Does it ping once a day, a few times a day? Does it only start transmitting because there's a gyro inside it and it tracks real time? Here we have a number of different use cases, so we have to dig a little bit deeper. Let's look at healthcare. What about a blood pressure machine? I've been told by my doctor, take my blood pressure once a day and transmit that result in. Does it arrive in an hour, 2 hours? Does it really matter? But if it's a cardiac monitoring, then I want to make sure that data arrives as quick as possible for obvious reasons. But then if we look at POS, no matter if we're buying food, drink, or just a simple purchase, or EV charging, just imagine if I just stood here in silence for 20 seconds. That seems an awful long time. So latency is critical for these type of applications. As you see, there's a lot of options here and there's a lot of things to discuss. So now we need to look at the device. The size of the device. What about the cost? The cost is not just about the manufacturing, the tooling of the device, the certification, but how much do we sell the device for? The power. Is it mains? Is it battery? What about software updates? How many times has our laptops, our phones had software updates? Longevity. I want to deploy and leave it out there. For how long? Coverage. Is it just UK only? Worldwide? How often does it connect? What about data volumes? As you can see, there's a lot of information that I've had to gather before I can start to decide, is it NB-IoT, Cat-M1, Cat1 BIS? What best results suits the use case? So let me try summarizing this all up. So a smart meter, I think NB-IoT is the perfect solution for that. Small updates of data once a day, latency is not a problem. Tick. A tracker. In some cases, NB-IoT is okay, but realistically, Cat-M1 or Cat1 BIS, as latency is important there. Healthcare. If it's a blood pressure machine, then Cat-M1 is a perfect solution for that. If it is a cardiac device, then Cat1 BIS is the ideal one because I want the global coverage and I need the latency there because that is very, very important. When it comes to POS, EV charging, vending, Cat1 BIS is the best solution as latency is critical here. Global coverage, a device that needs to work anywhere, then Cat1 BIS is the only solution. It speaks for itself as LPWAN does not have the global coverage today. The MNOs are getting there, but it's not here today. I would like to finish off as I always like to say, IoT starts and ends with the device. This makes or breaks IoT projects. Recent survey shows that 84% of customers state that the device presents itself as the most important element to get right first for any IoT deployment. As I like to say, mission critical IoT starts with the device. I cannot stress that anymore.